Hello and welcome to the Men Becoming Better Men podcast. I am Bob Wisher, along with my co-host, The Wall. Um, Unfortunately, Nicole and I had some scheduling issues this week. We could not sync our calendars whatsoever, so I am going to fly solo today. Um, Kind of been missing out because she's got to do the two episodes with our two special guests over the last few weeks, and I felt a little left out, so I didn't want to miss one this week. Excuse me, it came out a little hot there. All right, so I'm not quite sure what that was in my throat, but I got it, I think, under control. Um, so let's dive in today. So what I want to talk about today is anger, and I know we talked about this a couple weeks ago, um, but I want to take it deeper today. Did some more did some more digging, did some more research on it, and learned some more things. And um, I think it's so prevalent in society today, especially for men. For me, I know I've struggled with it, and I don't know if I'd use the word struggle. It was kind of something that was always there, and it always kind of happened, but I didn't really acknowledge it to be as impactful as now looking back and with the things I'm learning and what I'm seeing in other people and doing this work, um, how it really impacted some of the things in my life. So um, we all we all have it. I mean, men and women too. I'm not going to discount that women don't have it, but I know the feeling that men have, and I know the frustrations and how it can boil up. I mean, from the guy that cuts you off in traffic to coworkers who don't do their jobs, on and on. And there's just dozens and dozens of situations that can get our blood boiling, right? So, but my question to you is why? Why do we? Why are we so hair triggered? At least I was, and I still can be sometimes. I've learned to get a hold of it better and faster, um, but whether it's a big or small situation doesn't really matter. It just why does something trigger us to get us going like that? And I want to break it down to one simple but not easy concept. And that is when we get angry, it signals that we're running into something that's blocking our goal. Think about that. Signals, it's a signal that something is blocking our goal. I'm not talking about big goals like I want to be president of the United States. I'm talking about like even tiny goals, why do we get angry at another driver in traffic when we're going to work? I mean, granted, the percentage of people that love going to work is probably pretty small. So why do we get so bent when somebody cuts off in traffic because we're trying to get to work? Um, but it slows you down. It's somebody getting in your way, slowing you down, and impeding your progress, and that can be a trigger, and that can trigger our anger, right? So when we get triggered, we react in anger and we make two decisions. The first decision we make is that we're going to focus on that issue that caused the situation over anything else. It could be listening to, you know, a great song, or you could be listening to a talk radio program or an audiobook. Um, you could be listening to a great audiobook. You could be learning something, life changing something on an audiobook or a podcast. And but we decide in that moment that guy that cut us off, that's more important right now than what we were learning. And of course, we can pause and rewind, but still, you get my point. We make it more important right in that moment that we need to focus on that other driver. And why did he get in my way and slow me down? And why is he impeding my goal? And it just seems so silly, doesn't it? It just seems so silly that even though we can be get or we could be engaged in a conversation with our spouse in the car or a kid. But no, we have to focus on this other thing over here, this guy that's getting in our way. So it, we get offended, and then we make a second decision, and the second decision is we have to take action. We have to speed up, get on his bumper, blow our horn, or flip him off, or do something else. All terribly stupid and childish reactions that aren't going to yield a good outcome in any way, shape, or form. Okay, yeah, maybe we feel slightly better because I don't know why we feel. Do you really feel better? I don't. I end up feeling like, why are you a jackass? Why are you yelling at this guy? It just doesn't make any sense. But it when we get angry, you know, and so let's get beyond the car thing. So we can get angry at a spouse. You know, maybe she didn't pick up milk on the way home, and you get angry with her because it was your goal to have a glass of milk or a bowl of cereal or something you needed the milk for. I don't know. I don't drink milk. But why? Why do we get triggered so easily? And why do we make a bigger meaning of little things than really matter, that they don't really matter? This throat, sorry. um Now there are other situations where a reaction is warranted. Like if the triggering event legitimately was going to be harmful to us or a loved one. Yeah. Now we got to focus on that. We gotta make sure everybody's safe, right? Make sure we're safe. Make sure other people are safe. If there's an action to be taken, a forceful action, we have to take it. But that's a little more remote than these little ones that we always get triggered by. Because we're not getting what we want or what we think we want in that moment, which is I want a peaceful drive to work, or I want a bowl of cereal, and you got in my way. You didn't do what I needed you to do, or you got in my way. You slowed me down. You something. Get angry. So this is easy so far, right? This all makes perfect sense. It's like, okay, yeah, it's stupid. It's stupid. Why do I act that way? So now this is where the help comes. And I hope you stayed for this episode to this point. You didn't just listen to me ramble on about being angry. Because I'm gonna really get down to some stuff here. I'm gonna explain to you how we can mitigate our anger. Now, first, again, we've already made 1 to 3 decisions so far about whatever that triggering action was. So our next step, next action we have to take is to be present. We talk about this as a standard of men becoming better men. Be present. Be present in every moment. Because as my good friend Bobby Keys says, every moment is either priceless or worthless. It's the name of his company. Emmy Every moment is either priceless or worthless. And in that moment, really apologize for this throat. Every moment, priceless or worthless. So do you want that moment to be worthless, rage-filled, screaming at the top of your lungs at another driver? Or you want it to be like, hey, what was it? What was I listening to on the radio? Or what was that, honey? We were talking. Get back to the conversation with your spouse. Stay present in that moment. Because what happened, happened, and we can't change it. But we can choose to decide if it really matters. And if it matters, if your answer is yes, it matters that guy cut me off, who does it matter to? Certainly doesn't matter to the guy that cut you off. It matters to you. Why does it matter? And question if it's true. And if we gave any reasons for those last couple of who or why, then we can ask ourselves if we want to make a different decision. So maybe we do justify it, okay? But do we want? Then we got to ask ourselves: do we want to make a different decision? Think about that for a minute. What's the point of getting angry? Does it solve the problem? Second way to mitigate our anger is to breathe. Woosah. Bad boys, right? Woosah. Breathe. Calm your flight or flight instinct. Because we have that automatic, right? As soon as we get angry, adrenaline, fight or flight. I gotta fight. Somebody's in my way. Somebody's blocking my goal. I gotta fight. Why? We gotta, it's automatic, right? It happens in our body automatically. So take a second, be present, and breathe. That slows that autonomic triggered response because our autonomic nervous system kicks in automatically and we need to shut it off. And we can shut it off faster by breathing and focusing inward. Third step, and it's probably the most important step for those of you that want to further your personal growth. Now, if you don't want to further your personal growth, I don't know why you're even listening to this podcast. Because this podcast, if you've gone back through all the episodes, it is 100% about personal growth. Most important step is to investigate. Try to figure out why. What is the cause of that anger? Is it really that you want to get to work faster? Is it really that you want that bowl of cereal? What is the cause of that anger? And now, if you're talking about something with a little more teeth to it, like arguing with a spouse and get angry with a spouse and going back and trying to figure out why I was triggered and what's the cause of that anger, that can go a few layers into the soul there. And that's what I'm talking about. Because I had some stuff that wasn't resolved from my childhood, from my early school days, hell, all my school days, bullying and whatnot. And a lot of my anger was a reaction to that bullying and being controlled by somebody else and being so angered by the fact that somebody else was controlling me or that I was letting myself be controlled by somebody else, whether it was because of fear or embarrassment or judgment or wanting to be part of the crowd, whatever. It's important to figure out what causes these outbursts because that understanding for me is extremely helpful. And it helps me today that when somebody cuts me out in traffic, I'm just like, all right, you obviously needed to get to work faster than I did. I just laugh at him because I'm listening to an audiobook or a podcast and I'm learning something and I don't mind taking an extra 10 or 15 minutes to get to work. I mean, I've practiced it so much in the car and in traffic. It's really rare anymore that I get impeded in traffic. So ask yourself questions like, what made me angry? Has this happened before? Is this a reoccurring thing for me? What feelings arose in me? Was it really anger? Was it just frustration? Was it angst? Whatever that feeling is, identify it, call it something, and really think: are those true feelings? Or are they trying to tell you something? Those feelings can be trying to tell you something. It can be a cry for help. It can be a cry for attention. Um, do I want these feelings to reoccur? Do I want to figure out what's the real root cause here? Do I want to figure out? Do I want to unpack it? Do I want to keep? Do I want to heal it? Bullying is a traumatic experience when you're a kid. You have to heal from that. You have to reconcile. Um, then then decide how you can think differently now to not let it reoccur. And you're gonna have to retrain yourself. You're gonna have to do it multiple times. It's not just a one shot. You're gonna think, okay, I think it's my childhood bullying, and it's gonna be gone. It's gonna take multiple instances of you realizing, oh crap, that there it is again, and kind of do the work, ask the questions, talk to somebody, find somebody to help you walk through it before it's gonna heal itself. Um, I really wish I could do a Q&A with the audience on this, because I'd love to take some Q&As about how, what makes you angry, or how makes you angry, and try to help sort you through that. But obviously I can't in this format. So I'm going to put a Q&A tab on, if you're listening to this on Spotify, if you go into the show itself, the show notes where it's got the stuff, if you scroll down, there'll be a spot on there you can drop a question in there, and I'll answer the question. It'll probably be on Spotify, and I don't know if it'll give you a notification that I answered, but um, maybe next time you go in to listen to the podcast, you can check to see if I answered. And I will check. Hopefully, I get a notification that says somebody um, commented in there, but that it's not happened yet, so I don't know how it works. Um, or you can always email me at menbecomingbettermen@gmail.com. You can always reach out to Nicole as well if you resonate more with her and you don't want to talk to goofy old me. Um, she'd be more than willing to talk through this with you as well. So that's it. I don't know how long that went, but I can't see the timer on here. But that's all for today. And I'd do the negative, I'd do the energy clearing voice or breath thing like Nicole does, but she dumbfounds me every time when she does that. I'm like, how do you figure this out? How do you? So I just let her do it. It's her gig, but it's a cool thing. So we will have that back when she returns, and hopefully in our next episode. And I just want to thank you in closing for joining us today on the podcast. Be sure to follow, like, subscribe, whatever. If you're watching on YouTube, of course, subscribe. I'd love to grow the channel. I think we have about 13 subscribers. Woo-hoo! Yeah, making bank there. No, that's not what this is about. It's about helping men, helping you realize that there are things that have happened in your past that don't have to dictate your future. um, and as always, if you resonate with us or think of somebody who would appreciate this content, please share. Please share it with a friend, a brother, father, colleague, whatever. The more you do those things, obviously, the more exposure we get, our audience grows, and the number of people we can help grows. Ironically, I'll just say a quick note before you shut me off. Last week's episode that Nicole did with Grant Majors about um, being adopted. Got some real good feedback on that one. Somebody forwarded it to somebody, and it really resonated with them. So we're definitely doing some good things for people. So if you have any inkling that somebody needs to hear this message or wants to talk, please share, because we're just here to help. All right. Um, we want to help our brothers end their silent suffering, because there's too much of that going on out there. Too many men um, taking their lives because they don't have anybody to talk to. And you sending somebody this podcast could keep them from doing that. So there's that. So that's it. Love you, man. Catch you next time.